Hi, my name's Matthew. I just wanted to give a quick introduction to scheduling and planning time in ServicePlanner. This is something I've been meaning to introduce in greater detail for quite a while, and I apologise I haven't done this type of training video before. If you enjoy it and find it useful, please let me know and I'll try and do more of these. It's not something I've storyboarded and pre-written notes for. I'm just recording it live and trying to keep it fairly casual. So let's introduce scheduling time in ServicePlanner. This is a freshly installed version of ServicePlanner and it has no data in it yet. We're currently on Friday the 9th of November. So you can see that there's nothing in here yet. So the starting point really for planning your hours and scheduling is to go into settings and into your schedule. And let's say I'm a regular pioneer and my goal is 840 hours a year for the service year. Let's just have a quick look at what this has done. So far you can see that the year goal is now 840 hours and the year goal is 840 hours, but we haven't said how we're going to achieve that 840 hours, so there's not a lot more that it can do in terms of prediction. So let's go and say how we're going to get that, which is by doing 70 hours a month. Again, let's just have a quick look at what that's done. So our goal is to get 70 hours for the month, and you can see that it's scheduled it out, but there's a bit of red showing here, minus 210 hours. Let's have a look at the yearly overview. Basically what's happening is we've said at a high level we're going to get 70 hours per month. We haven't recorded any time in ServicePlanner yet for September or October or for November, so working on the assumption we don't get any time for those months, then our projected hours for the service year is 630. The idea here is that we don't just say at a high level what we want to get and then have the app averaging things out across months and across days, because in the real world that's not how planning works. For example, to explain that further, let's have a look at how we're going to get our time. So let's say our normal week consists of 4 hours on the Monday, 5 hours on the Wednesday, 5 hours on the Friday, and 3 hours on Saturday. And let's see what that means for November. So we're going to apply our daily schedule to the month of November. So I've tapped at the top right to the action menu and I'm going to click apply daily schedule, which will loop through each day in November and apply the daily goals to the planned hours column. Right, so if we stick to our schedule and haven't done any witnessing so far this month, then our projected hours for November are 56, which shows down here as well as a progress bar, and if you tap on it you can see that we'll get 56 planned, and that's 14 hours behind. If we go and have a look at the year, you can see what it's done here as well, and that's increased from 630 hours to 686 projected. So let's go to a clean month. Let's go forward in time to December, because ideally we should be doing this before the month starts. Apply the daily schedule. Right, so if we stick to our schedule for December, then we should get 75 hours. That's our projected hours for December. But we know that on Saturday the 15th we've got a circuit assembly, so no, we're not going to get any time that day. And on Wednesday the 19th I have an appointment, so I'm only going to get 2 hours then. And alright, so now I'm behind, so I need to make up that time. So potentially I can increase my hours on another day, or perhaps I can go out on a Sunday and do 3 hours on Sunday. So notice there I actually long tapped, press and hold, and it saves you having to go into the day and edit the hours. You can just press and hold and it gives you a quick way of entering your time. If you're entering time in the future, then it's always planned. If it's in the past, which I'll show you now by going back to the current month of November, we actually did go out on Friday the 2nd, so I'm going to press and hold, and I did 3 hours on that Friday, which was 2 less than I had scheduled. My schedule hours for Friday is 5 and I only got 3, so it's shown in red. I didn't go out on the Saturday. I did go out on the Monday. I'll press and hold again. I got actual 5 hours, which was 1 more than anticipated. And on the Wednesday, I got 7 hours. So that's put me in the lead again. So you can see the basics of how scheduling works here. You can also, in terms of planning, you can plan who you're going to work with. So I know that on Wednesday, November the 14th, I have already arranged to work with John. In settings, I've defined a default start and end time and a default calendar to enter this into, to enter into these options here, and I can actually say whether I want it added to the device calendar as well. So now that's in my default device calendar, and it's showing as planned. So in grey, see it's got the question mark here, so it's not shown as confirmed, which actually I have arranged it and checked with John, and he's all good. So I'll say that that's confirmed. So that's now showing in black. And on the Friday, I'm planning on asking David, but I haven't got around to it yet. So that's showing in grey. You can actually enter multiple witnessing partners for a given day as well. Right, so carrying on, you can see that if we look at the year, we've started planning December's time, and we've entered in and planned out November, but for September and October we haven't entered our time yet. So let's just go back to October and look at entering historic report data. The easiest way to do that is to pick a day in the month. I would suggest the last day of the month, and enter in here basically went onto your field service report that went to your overseer. So you can tap and hold in actual hours. Like normally if you just tap it, you get to enter what you would get in a day's worth of preaching at a maximum. But if you tap and hold, you can enter in any number you like. So let's say we got 72 hours in October, and we placed 12 watchtowers, and I tapped in. If you tap and hold, you get that input. If you just tap once, it's one at a time, but if you tap and hold, you can say that you entered. Well, it's never going to happen, but let's say we placed 2 books, and keep scrolling down. We did 24 return visits, and we had 1 Bible study. And so now we've reported our time, brought our report up to date for October. So if I go into October, you can see what's happened here. See the projected hours keeps increasing in accord with what we're entering here. If I tap and hold on September and go into the last day of the month, and yes, we got 69 hours September. And I won't enter placements for that for now. Let's just have a look at what happens. 69. So if we stick to our schedule, we'll get 844 hours projected for the year. And you can just tap on the date line here to always return to the current month. And yeah, so that's the basics of how we enter in our time and plan it and schedule it. And what we should keep an eye on basically is what happens to this number here. If we keep an eye on that, then hopefully we'll achieve our goal for the month. And if we keep an eye on it in the year view, then we'll hopefully achieve our goal for the year. And because it's updated live, it means that if we don't get our time in on any given day, then we can straight away plan how we're going to compensate for that throughout the month and bring that number back up to what it should be. And from the screen, there's so many other things we can do. Like each of these lines is a breakdown. So if I go into hours, it's detailed breakdown in here, where from the screen we can enter our credits. We can enter in carried minutes from previous months. And from here we can also submit our field service report. And there's many options that will appear in this list depending on what apps are installed on your device. So you can send your report from that button there, or from the action menu top right, send report. And so hopefully that gives you a quick overview of how scheduling your hours works in ServicePlanner.